Welcome back to Ferocious Education. Today I'm going to be talking about PLTR, Palantir. I had a lot of requests on this one on Twitter, so here we are again, even though the last one wasn't a long time ago. I split this video into introduction, due diligence, and technical analysis. If you have any questions during the video, make sure you mention them down in the comments below or through our Discord that is free of charge. It's just basically a massive chat room where we trade and discuss stocks all day in the description below. Jump right into it. Palantir. So this one here is a massive one. It's a massive company in my opinion. I've talked about it below. You'll find my previous due diligence in the description below. I talked about it in depth. So this one, due diligence, is not going to be very heavy. It's going to be very light, straightforward, giving you a view, and then moving to technical analysis. Palantir really goes on to three different categories. Palantir Gotham, that integrates, manages, secures, and analyzes all the enterprise data. Palantir Foundry, which amplifies and extends the power of data integration. Palantir Apollo, which is a power SaaS in places no SaaS has gone before. The entire platform is actually powered by Palantir Apollo. Don't think about them as a data company, but rather than a solutions company for technical for technology, including AI, machine learning, automotive, auto racing, case management, cyber, defense, compliance, GDPR, insurance, intelligence, law enforcement, legal intelligence, manufacturing, merger acquisition, pharmas, RWEs, sales and revenue wise. Some of the latest news that we have include partnerships with the FDA, partnerships with the Army, partnerships even with the Greek government about digital transportation partnerships, and the list goes on. Some of the potential this one has includes military, includes vaccines, tracking, includes assets for vaccine manufacturing, includes everything in between you can think of. This company really has no limits. But here is a bit of details about the Palantir's FDA contract, just in case you're wondering. So, just a quick insight. The actual revenue here, Denver-based company has stock surge over the last month, with the share price more than tripling since it went public in September. Even as it's reported a widening loss for the quarter that ended in September, it raised revenue growth forecast for 2020 to 44%, totaling $1.07 billion. It also increased its 2020 forecast for an adjusted operating profit $430 million to $136 million. That is a lot of money, especially coming in with all these latest contracts that came in not long time ago, including the Trinity Challenge, the U.S. Army Future Command Prototype, the Greek government and Palantir partnering with the FDA. All these things are amazing. Now, SEC filings, unfortunately, we don't have any new SEC filings coming up since my last video. Everything else I covered in my previous video, so make sure you watch that one. Now jumping on towards technical analysis, but before we do so, now one big thing is a bunch of you continuously watch my videos but never subscribe. So please consider subscribing because it helps YouTube know that you guys are interested in these videos. It helps bring more people on there and help the channel grow. If you have any feedback, make sure you mention them down in the comments below or through our Discord. Next thing coming up is technical analysis. On a 1 week, we don't have any technical indicators filling up. On a 1 day, moving averages are extremely bullish. Now, it stays bullish between the 26.17 and 21.46 because that is a trading action zone. That's where reversals are likely. Dipped here and then bounced right back. And we can expect that movement every time it dips below. So above 26.17, it's completely fully bullish. Now, the 80x here shows something interesting. It shows that we might actually get a pullback here because this trend has been going on for quite some time. The William %R sits somewhere at neutral, which is not a bad thing necessarily. It's actually, well, a lot better than overbought, but still it's not oversold. So we can see a pullback there. MACD here is a little bit of a bad news for us because it's showing that we might be very likely to get a negative reversal here. Momentum has gone negative today, which is extremely bearish. Now, on a 2-hour perspective, what we get to see here is something that's along the lines that we see on the 1 day, but it shows a bit more sloppy. And 0.33% decrease shows how sloppy it is. It really didn't move much within the last 2 hours. In a 2-hour scale. Now, on a 1 hour scale, things very much look the same. ADX is around 13.99. That's sloppy. William percent R is oversold. That's good. Momentum is negative or barely hanging on 0, and MACD is flat. The moving average band, it's expecting for this one to trade at 26.36 in the top, 23.96 in the middle, 21.56 in the bottom. Now, moving on to the next thing, the stochastic fast and the stochastic slow, if you watch them here, they're both dipping downward. That is a dangerous sign because it usually tells you that momentum is slowing down, volume is slowing down, and you might actually see pullback. That's all it's saying. Now, one thing that is very, very interesting about this one, take a quick look into this trend line. Oops, I always end up messing things around. So 5 days, 15 minutes, you get to see this massive trend line that is very strong. Now, what we can do here is extend this trend line and see how far back it goes. Well, that is a price line. And you'll see that it actually goes all the way down to almost the $8 mark. It really has been above that trend line for quite some time. Currently, today, it tested that trend line. And if it does break below, let's say the 26.83, that trend line is broken. Nonetheless, it's a very strong trend line. Now, we can try to quickly attempt to go on with a channel, try to see if we get any kind of move there. And you get to see on a channel, it's really on the bottom side of the channel if you were to consider this one. Even if you were to consider this one, it still has a lot of room to grow because it's expected to trade 28.60 from 26.79 and in the upper channel 30.41 from 20. So we get to see on an uptrend, this might be time to buy with a lot of risk that we get to see. Now, let's do quickly supports and resistances. We're very much interested in such parameters. On the Fibonacci retracements, we'll take the 3350 to 1501. Significant resistances supports here. We get to see significant Fibonacci support sits at 26. Now, just to make sure we get this one to be accurate, might want to lower it down a little further. 1890. There you go. That looks more accurate. Resistance here is matching. The Fibonacci resistance 2824 followed by 3350. Significant support on the Fibonacci retracements 2412, 2123, and 1833. Now, on a 2-hour perspective, here is where things get more interesting. We can identify smaller resistances and supports for trading purpose. 2694 is the current support, followed by 2598, followed by 2553, 2490, 2367, 2172, 1945. Significant resistances sit at 2789, 2888, 2915, and then jumping up to 3056. Now, do you see any kind of patterns coming on this one? It is really tough to be able to determine a pattern other than the trend line, the channel. That is the most important thing. Now, what do I think is going to happen? That is a good question. I definitely do think this has an uptrend, upside on a long-term potential. Trading-wise, if it does break that trend line, the channel that I showed you, I think it is due for a pullback. So it is bullish with a really high chance, really high risk of it dropping back. And otherwise, it's just going to be trading sideways for a while. What do you think about this ticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments. Subscribe and like. You have a wonderful day.